Hi everyone, my name is Arika. This is Frequently Dramatic, and here on this channel, I talk about whatever I want. And today we have a story about a young woman who attempted to go to a braider. Long and short, she ended up not getting her hair done, but she explains the process on TikTok. Her name is Iwa, and her handle is Slaywa on TikTok. And from the looks of it on her account, she is someone who's into beauty, pop culture, travel, and she's also a UGC creator. She's 27 and she lives in Los Angeles, my old stomping ground. Oh my gosh, I do miss living there, but with my asthma and stuff, yeah, I would not have survived out in LA, but I miss it dearly.
I told myself at the end of last year, after I had an absolutely horrible experience with a stylist and I felt like my face was played in and I was scammed, that the next time a stylist in the city of Los Angeles displays terrible business practices or acumen, gaslights me, plays in my face, instead of letting it fester inside of me or just venting to my friends or just, again, just gaslighting myself and making myself feel like I'm the problem, I'm going to make a video about it and I'm going to just get a sanity check and confirm if I'm in the wrong or not.
I am totally in support of people posting their experiences online, whether that be on TikTok, whether that is actually even an actual review on Google or Yelp or whatever it is. I do think you should more so approach it with the idea that you are just getting the word out there and you're warning people, and not of the mindset of that you're doing it so that you can get restitution, because like that doesn't always happen. And so, if you're always looking for restitution, the end result won't always be satisfying. So I think, like, if you approach it with the mindset that you're trying to warn people, then yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
On August 5th, I book an appointment for today, August the 13th, for a French braid, basically cornrows, straight back situation. I'm going to Mexico next week. I just want a cute little style for the week that I'm there.
That's about a week, yeah, or a little bit more than a week ahead. And from the styles that she shared here, yeah, she's just looking basically for protective styles that if you have curly hair, you understand, when you're in the humidity, your hair, it doesn't always behave in the way that it usually does. The humidity like makes it more frizzy. So a lot of times it's harder to style if that is not where you usually live. So for example, like in Trinidad, like I see me, when I grew up, when I was living there, I knew how to comb my hair in a way that the weather agreed with, and also we have specific products that you sell there that you know how to use it to your benefit. And I see this all the time for Carnival. I watch the vlogs on YouTube where women come to Carnival and they come with a blowout or they come with a leave out, and their hair absolutely just like not work for them, and they usually have to end up like just like combing it down or tying it down. So yeah, I know why she's doing this, and I think that is definitely the right call for Mexico, especially if you live in the States and you're not used to combing your hair in that environment.
Boom, okay, my appointment is confirmed. 2 days later, on August the 7th, I get an email saying that my appointment has been canceled. I'm in the middle of doing my work. I just see the email. I raise my eyebrows, rolls my eyes because of course it's been canceled. Like, again, I'm always having terrible experiences, so this is just like another one.
I will say right off the bat, initially sent this video 2 days after that is still like almost a week before her scheduled appointment. So I think that is reasonable as far as cancellations. That gives you enough time to find somebody else. But from how she's speaking in this and she's already been through the situation, I think that her reaction or what her return of her reaction is totally justifiable.
And I was getting ready to text the stylist and just ask if everything is okay, like what's going on, what's up, when I'm done with my work. Anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes later, I get an email saying that business has changed the date of your appointment. I click on that email. I booked the appointment for 10:30 a.m. And then when I looked at the follow-up email, the third email, it says that my appointment is now at 10 a.m. And I'm like, oh, okay, she just canceled it just so she could move me. Maybe she needed to adjust to to her schedule. I didn't even text because like I don't have anything pressing going on today to where like I had to be at 10:30.
So yeah, her reaction there totally makes sense. My loctician who does my hair, she has before like changed the appointment time, but usually it's like, half an hour earlier, half an hour later. I don't text her back because usually it's fine with me. I will say though, if it was a brand new person, I would have like texted and just figured it out. But I did go onto this business because she does later share the business's name. I did go onto the business's website. She has a professional website. It's like an actual booking service that she probably has to pay them a subscription fee to be able to do that. So like it looks very professional and everything. So I understand why she didn't text, but for my peace of mind, I would have, but that is not to be expected of everybody. I will also say, with her not texting or like me being somebody who would have texted, also the business owner, if this is somebody, this is not one of my regulars, I would have texted them and just confirmed as well, like whatever the situation is, right? Like my current electrician, I don't expect her to text me. I don't expect to text her because she is in a very professional salon. They've been around for forever. I've been seeing her for over a year, so like we understand, But like if this is a new customer, I expect the person to reach out to the customer as well, just to be clear.
Fast forward to today, August 13th, I get to the appointment. I actually text her at 10:01 because I'm like 5 minutes late. I don't get a response. I don't really expect her to because I mean, I texted her 4 minutes before and then 5 minutes later I was there. I walk up into her suite and sure enough, someone is in there getting their knotless braids done that are not anywhere close to being done. And I walk in and she looks at me like I'm crazy and she was like, "Hi, like, what are you doing here? Like, who are you?" I tell her that 8 days ago, I booked an appointment for the French braids, and it was initially at 10:30 AM. I got an email that it got canceled, and then I got a follow-up email that said that the date and the time had changed, and it went from 10:30 to 10, so I had just assumed that the time had changed. And she said, "No, it's been canceled." And my retort was, "Okay, if it's been canceled, why did it go from 10:30 to 10 and there was no follow-up email that the whole entire appointment had been canceled?"
So up until this point, I think like how the stylist has handled the situation outside of the pre, where I think she should have texted during the appointment. She said that the stylist looked confused. I don't know if that was in a rude way, but like I do think like if you're thinking the appointment is cancelled, it is okay to look confused. So at this point, I don't think anything wrong has happened per se. But yeah, why was there no follow up? Again, right? If you don't do a service anymore, right, and you send cancellation emails, you should at least set your system up to also send a text, so that it's like clear, so that people understand. Because the other thing is too, is like with these emails, a lot of times, like even things related to appointments is get absolutely lost in your email, right? People don't see it. If you don't have emails on your phone, 90% of the time, you're not going to see something. I would say even closer to 100%, you're not going to see something unless you're constantly checking your personal emails, which people don't do. They have lives, they're working, the 9 to 5s or whatever it is, and like you're already inundated with emails at work. A lot of people, unless you're like that type of personality, you're not constantly checking your personal emails. So like, I do think like if a business is going to do a cancellation, you also need to follow up by phone. Nobody's saying you have to call, but you at least need to also send a text. Like, again, the people I go to for my hair, yes, I get the email when I immediately book. I get the email when I pay my deposit. I get a confirmation text saying, hey, this is when you booked for. A day before my appointment, I get another text saying, hey, this is when you're booked for. If I cancel an appointment, I get a text. If they change my time, I get a text. So there is no reason in the current technological age that we have, and especially seeing that she's actually subscribed to a very professional booking service, that constant contact is not happening. Especially when time is so valuable.
Because had I not gotten that third email, I would have just taken my L, or I would have texted her and been like, "Hi, is everything okay? Can I reschedule or do something else?" I didn't, and she said that she doesn't do that style anymore, and that's why she canceled the appointment. Everyone who booked that appointment got their appointment canceled. In my mind, I'm like, "Okay, so you did cancel this appointment and you as of today it's still technically canceled. Where was the text? You would have just canceled everyone's appointment, just said nothing, and that would have just been that." Again, as a business person, because this is where the whole business acumen thing really starts to piss me off. If you are a business person and you cancel a slew of girls' appointments who have already booked something, why would you not send a text or an email, a direct email saying, "Hi, I am so sorry. I apologize for the inconvenience. I have decided to no longer do this style anymore. If you would like to rebook, da 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 da, let me know." Like anything. Like you just didn't say anything.
Yeah, everything she just said is absolutely valid. I think like the biggest thing that a lot of businesses fall into these days is like not communicating. And I don't know why there's such a thing. For like example, there's a small garage near where I live. I took my car to get fixed. Luckily I'm a student, so I'm home anyway. It's not like I absolutely need my car unless I'm like going to the gym, going to the grocery store, taking my dog to doggy daycare, whatever it is, right? So I'm very chill on when I'm getting my car back, right? But like if I drop my car off 8:30 in the morning, I'd expect to at least get a call by 4 in the afternoon, right? So even if you're not able to fix it yet, you haven't figured out what the situation is yet, you know what the situation is, but you're trying to find the parts in order to give me a proper estimate, whatever it is, right? You need to at least make a phone call and say, hey, this is the situation that's going on, or send a text saying, hey, this is the situation that's going on. I think that a lot of times with businesses, people are not getting upset because the service isn't fast enough or the service isn't good enough as far as like the actual service that people are paying for. A lot of times what they're getting upset about is communication. I don't know why, but like I don't know. That's just something I've been noticing is like communication is not where it needs to be when it comes to service. And most of customer service is communication. Most of the times, if you tell somebody, hey, this is the situation that's going on, even though the actual service is not being fulfilled quite how as smoothly as it should be, or like not at all, people just want to be informed so that they could make other decisions, you know? So, like, yeah, with the car thing, like, what if I had a job, you know? I needed to know if I need to catch a ride or if I need to go rent a car for a couple days, that kind of stuff, you know? Like, just communicate. Just tell people what is going on. And most of the time, they will give you a bly, okay?
And then to top it off, I get a third email saying that the event has been changed or the date has been changed. What am I supposed to make of that? One would say, yeah, you should have just texted her. You should have made sure, okay, cool. And I will just retort back as someone, if you are a business owner and you run a business, why should the onus on the client be on them to reach out to you and be like, hi, is everything okay? What's going on? Why was my appointment canceled? I would just think if you cancel an appointment on the fly, you would follow up and say why or ask if we can reschedule or do something. But it was just complete ghost and crickets. And I will continue to reiterate, I got a third email that said the appointment had been changed.
Especially when it comes to like hair braiding and stuff where you are expected to pay a deposit. I think a deposit is, you know, enough to warrant proper communication. Like, again, yes, it should not be on the onus of the customer, right? For your booking schedule, you were available. They paid the deposit. The very least you could do is call, text. Something that is more than an email, especially when they're coming from, when these emails are coming from automatic like booking services. A lot of times they either go into people's spam or you go into that email box that is not priority, okay? So they're not seeing it.
So, and like a ghost didn't do that. Someone had to have moved it from 10:30 to 10 to where I was now believing, oh, then like it had been changed.
And that too. So, like, if the system is able to send an email saying, hey, you're basically rescheduled, it should be shown up on your end, right? And even still, I mean, we haven't heard anything yet where the business was being rude or anything, but like, you know, if she has something saying that, hey, my appointment still exists, you know, you got to make something happen. Something, you know, like either like profusely apologize, let them know like, hey, you're committed to changing how your business practices are done. Fine, I understand you don't do this service anymore, but see if there is a spot available where you could do it. Because again, from the pictures that she showed us, she's just looking for basically a protective style for vacation. So it's not even like those braids are going to take, they shouldn't take 5+ hours to do, right? They look like they're probably like max 2 hours.
Back to the attitudes and the professionalism is that she just did not care. Like there was not a lick of empathy on her face of like, oh, well, I could have seen where that confusion was. I apologize. Like again, just nothing, just a very dead and blank expression on her face, like looking at me like I'm the crazy one, like I'm the idiot when I got a confirmation email saying that my appointment time had changed.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. You have to show people empathy, you know? Like, just, again, people just want to know that you care. You care that, you know, they're choosing to give you money and you care enough to communicate with them, you know, whether that is showing empathy, whether it is giving a status update, something. I guess it's a lesson people learn eventually, or they don't, and then they go out of business. So,
I have been in LA for 4.5 years, and I have just had to continuously bounce from stylist to stylist because if it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not unprofessionalism, I suppose this is tied with it. With it, it's rudeness, and this is also tied in with it. If it's not rudeness, then you're late, and then you have a late fee on your book. If you're 15 minutes late, then I'm gonna charge you. I'm gonna cancel you. But then I've sat in a chair with someone who had that on there, and they were 30 minutes late to the appointment. It's just the rules for me and not for the sort of situation that just like makes me feel are we this is crazy.
I've only ever had like hair put into my hair one time, and that was not last year, but year before. They look like dreads, but they also had curly pieces. That's the one time I've ever gotten hair done, put in my hair, and that style, I think I kept that in for 6 months. I would just go in every like 6 weeks or something, and she would like touch up the roots, like add more of the hair that makes it looks like dreads onto it. And then, you know, pretty much after that I realized I wanted to lock my hair because I was like, yeah, doing your hair every day is for the birds, okay? I like getting up. I like spraying my hair with some whatever water it is that day. Every 3-4 days I do some like leave-in conditioner and that's it. Yeah, after that I was like, that's it. But you know, there's a lot of horror stories about breeders on TikTok, on YouTube, and I think, and again, sometimes people just don't know, right? Is like a lot of these breeders where you have to come with your hair already washed, without your hair already blow dried, you know, the tacking on 1 million fees and stuff. These people are not licensed, okay? the difference between a braider and a hairdresser is very different. Hairdressers have to go through specific courses, they have to be certified, they also have to be registered with the state board. These natural hair braiders, a lot of them have never been to beauty school, they're like self-taught, they don't report to a board, okay? There's a difference between, and I'm not saying somebody has to go to school to learn to do something, but when somebody doesn't have to report to a board, there's no way keeping them accountable. Okay, so like a hairdresser, if a hairdresser today fried my hair, I could go and report it to the state. Okay, a braider could do whatever they want. That's the truth, and that's why they have so many booking services, all these fees, all these late fees. As people, we need to just educate ourselves, and like, yes, of course, there's breeders out there who don't give people all these headaches and stuff, but like the chances of them giving me a headache is just so much higher, and that is why I will always go to a salon that is registered, that has to report to somebody, the state board, whatever it is, because my money is a lot, and especially in LA. Okay, I think that time when I did my hair initially was over $1,000, and then whatever fees I had to pay every time I went to get my hair touched up. Okay, in LA, hair is expensive. Well, it is, you're just paying for the hair, you're paying for the service. If you're bringing your own hair, it's a little bit cheaper, but you're still buying that hair for yourself, and things in LA are just naturally more expensive because the economy over there is more expensive. All that to say, it is never on the consumer in situations like these. But if you don't like stress, just don't go to these people. That's just my opinion. Don't go to these people if you don't like stress. Because you may have a good experience most of the time, but there's a point where you're going to have stress, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about it, because they don't report to anybody. They don't.
I'm just so tired of scrolling on my For You page every single week and just seeing a new story, a new horror story about a new girl who's had their face played in, who had a terrible experience, who has a horror story. It should not be this difficult to book something, an appointment, sit down, and get braids or whatever black style that it is.
It's definitely an epidemic. And again, I think it goes back to there's nobody holding these people accountable. There's nobody holding these people accountable. Listen, go to a hairdresser, okay? If the case is that you only want to go to a black person, there are black hairdressers who know how to do your hair, and they'll wash your hair, they'll blow dry your hair, they'll do everything. Okay, because they're trained and they have somebody who's holding them to a different standard. Like, stop going to these people who are going to play in your face. Before we go on to the other videos, in these videos, she did share who the person is, like through her emails, and then she showed her booking that is Braids by Poppi, right? Now, where I stand on this is, I think if you're going to come online and you're going to say you had this bad experience, you absolutely should share who you had this bad experience with. I personally do not understand people who come online and they complain about a service and then they don't say who it is, because at the end of the day, I think you're looking for clout, which listen, nothing wrong with looking for clout, but if you're just looking for clout and not to actually help people, we have a problem. Okay, yes, you should absolutely share who has done you wrong as far as services that you're paying for, right? Now, I did go and I looked her up. Her booking page is still available, but her Instagram page is gone. And I don't think she initially had a TikTok. Now, I'm assuming after this girl made her video, it started getting traction. I assume people went over to her page and started sending her DMs and weird messages and stuff. Like, people, please stop doing that. That's absolutely not necessary. This person did not give you a service. You do not need to go and harass them. Okay? Just take people's review of a service and move on. You could leave comments on that person's video. Same with the things I cover on this channel. I never want or expect anybody to go and like give heat to anybody else. Okay? Here I'm just sharing my opinion on what I saw on the internet. Y'all should be here, enjoy the commentary, see the content through my eyes, and that should be the end of it. Do not go and leave people reviews for services you absolutely did not do, okay? That being said, I went and I looked and her page is gone. So I don't know if she ever like left a reply or anything to the situation, but I assume she was probably getting harassed, which not cool, okay?
It's been 48 hours since my braiding appointment that technically didn't even happen from hell took place, and I did not expect the video to blow up, so I need to clarify a few consistent comments that I keep seeing, and I'm going to be taking down my twist out as I elaborate. From what I've gathered in my comment section from people who have also been to her and have also gotten done dirty and weird by her, she has been braiding in the LA area for at least a decade, and I'm almost certain that she is native to South LA.
On the screen here, there's a bunch of basically comments from her last video, and they're all negative. Just to read off a couple for you. That girl braided my hair so terribly once. My pad looked insane and she refused to fix it. Wait, stop. She's done this exact thing to me twice with the exact style too. Left me scrambling the day before a 2-week work trip last year. She was my braider for over 10 years. She did the exact same thing to me one day before I was supposed to attend a friend's wedding. The difference is that I never received an email or a text. I had to text her and she said she started working a new job so she had to cancel. After a decade, that was the final straw. Again, stop going to these braiders. Okay? And if there are any braiders watching, I don't know what to tell you. Get certified. Get registered with the state board. Okay, like at the end of the day, consumers need to unfortunately, be protecting themselves because nobody's protecting the consumer. Okay,
I would like to now pivot into a point that I kept consistently seeing that honestly is starting to frustrate me. I know natives are always going to represent their city and defend their city, but I kept seeing so many comments saying that this is why you go to a braider in the South. This is why you go to a braider that's recommended by word of mouth. This is why you go to the local girlies. This girl is based in Inglewood. And I was also receiving comments saying that, oh, you think you're too good to go to South LA, to Crenshaw, to Long Beach, to this, that, and the third. I only get my hair done in South LA and I don't live anywhere near South LA. Appointment that I went to in Inglewood, that took me 45 minutes there and 45 minutes to get back home. So that was gas and time wasted in the middle of my working day.
I personally would have ignored these comments, okay, because talking about that's why when you get your hair braided to certain like geographical areas is stupid, okay. I tell you, there's scammers everywhere. That's a fact. Okay, there are scammers everywhere. Okay, there's scammers from every socioeconomic background. There's scammers of all levels of education. Okay, skin colors, races, whatever. Okay, there are scammers everywhere. It does not matter. It's silly. And also, why does it matter? Okay, like you shouldn't have to defend yourself on where you drive to get your hair done. Okay, like that is. I don't know. I just think that is just like a lot of things that is like tied up in identity politics. And the black community, we tend to do it to ourselves. I said what I said. Because what? There's not Braiders in Ma Vista. There's not Braiders in downtown LA. What? That don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay? There are not any Braiders in freaking Culver City. What? They shouldn't get work because they don't live in South LA? Does South LA make you a better braider? It does not. That's just such a silly argument. And when I see it's such like contrarian and victim blaming comments like this is just like really upset me, really and truly.
I do not know what it is about me that would make you all assume that I think that I'm too good to go to local girls or go to girls who are born and raised here or girls who live in South LA. I am very comfortable and proud in my blackness. I love my Afro hair. I only do Afrocentric hairstyles, and I know that a majority of the girls who do these services live down south.
You shouldn't have to defend your blackness based on where you go to get your hair done. That's just my opinion. And I know I didn't grow up in America, like so like my view of things is a little bit different. Like I always say when I talk to like my friends and my family from Trinidad, like I understand it is a totally different ball game growing up as a woman in the United States of America and growing up as a black woman in the United States of America. But like what from her first video is telling y'all that she has some sort of anti-blackness in her, that she doesn't want to like appreciate other black braiders, or like again the braiders in another place other than South LA. All that matters is that you have the skills that you advertise and you don't scam people. Just my opinion.
There were a few comments victim blaming me, saying that I did not do my due diligence, I did not research her hard enough, I did not get a word of mouth recommendation. She was recommended to me by my former colleague and current friend. On her Booksy website, which I'm going to attach right now, she has a 4.9 out of 5 stars review. If that is not me doing my due diligence to find a decent stylist, I don't know what is. It's just really frustrating to see people just automatically assume that I'm just an idiot and I just booked someone all willy-nilly, and you know what I mean? Like I try to do my due diligence. I'm having these bad experiences by girls that are born and raised here, that are based in South LA. The onus should not be on me, the client, I'm trying to give you money. I'm trying to get a service done. The onus should not be on me to be on my P's and Q's. I'm a polite client. I sit down, I do my work. I work on my laptop because I am a remote worker. I do my thing, I pay you, and I leave. That's all I do.
Exactly. And again, they're charging you deposits. Okay. They are taking your money before you even sit in the chair, before you even find the building if you've never been there. The onus is always on the person providing the service. Unless like your customer is like being like some way discriminatory, rude, disrespectful, okay, they're not behaving like following the rules of like the salon within reason. Sure. Okay, but yes, the onus is always on the person providing the service.
I got a handful of comments that's saying that this is happening to me because I'm manifesting these experiences. And I don't know a kind way to say this outside of saying go to hell. Because respectfully, I don't know how you can see my comment section, see so many people relating to this exact same experience everywhere, and thinking that this is all our faults instead of thinking that this is a stylist issue, really serious problem with professionalism, kindness, and business acumen in the stylist space.
What do they mean by like you're manifesting this situation? I'm so confused. What do they mean? What does that mean? That's crazy.
As it pertains to any money, because that was another thing that I want to clear up, no money was taken from me in the making of this horror story. The only thing that was wasted was my time, at least 90 minutes of my life, and my gas money, because like I said, Inglewood is not close to me. It is 45 minutes on a good day and 45 minutes back on a good day.
Okay, and that makes sense because if she canceled, then she should be giving you a full refund.
All in all, if I was able to steer at least one of you away from her, which I think that I did, then I feel like I did a decent job. And again, I'm really, really, really manifesting. See, this is what I'm gonna manifest. I'm manifesting a good experience, and I manifest good experiences by being the client that I would want to be if someone was servicing me.
Clearly, she posted it to just to warn other people and not strictly for social media likes and followers. So that was great. I hope people take her warning to heart.
I will report back on how Tuesday goes, and we will go from there. And I'm gonna have a good time in Mexico. How about that? I'm so excited for Mexico. I told myself if the appointment on Tuesday goes crazy, I'm just gonna bring out my hair like this. I'm gonna bring my gel, maybe do like a slick down, like 1-2 for a couple of days, wash it out, do a twist out again. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. My natural hair is beautiful. And that's it. And that's all I have to say on the matter.
The final video she posted is a video of her hair being done, and I'll put it up on screen for you guys right now. I think it looks great, especially for something that she could have gotten last minute. Hairstyle like this is going to do well in Mexico. I'm happy she was able to get it done. Again, guys, just please do your homework before you try to book these people. You know, I understand if sometimes you don't have a choice and you have to go to a braider. Try to go to a braider that has really good reviews. You know, really take those 1 and 2 star reviews to heart. I know I'm one of those people who sometimes has be like, you know, I see the bad review, but I'm going to do it anyway. Don't be like me, okay? But yeah, try to go to people who, you know, have somebody to answer to. You know, again, the cost it takes to do here these days, use your discernment. I'm happy that Iwa was able to get her hair done in time for her vacation. Please take it as a precautionary tale. And, you know, that's really all I have to say about that situation. Before I go, I just want to say thank you guys to everybody who have subscribed to my channel. Currently, as of recording, I'm at 77. My goal right now is to hit my first 100 subscribers. So if you like this video or you want to see more from me, please hit the subscribe button. I'd really love to hear what you guys have to say. Or what is your opinion on this situation? Have you been in a situation like this before? Also, please share the video. You know, I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.